Hey everybody, this is Modern Refugee. If you've ever seen the movie Ronin, Robert De Niro says, "I never walk into a place that I don't know how to walk out of." And that's a little bit how it is in urban environments. We're down here in the city today, and we're taking a little bit of a walk, and we're going to talk about gear and kind of being in this environment. We always show being in the woods and doing that kind of stuff, but I thought it'd be interesting to do a video about interacting in this urban environment, because there's definitely a difference between the gear you carry and kind of your mindset when you're in places like this compared to, being out in the woods. And we're actually at a hospital right now, and hospitals are known for being in bad neighborhoods basically, and the blocks around here, you got to kind of evaluate your area. And that's the big thing, when you're coming down into areas like this, or you have to come to areas like this, you need to look at stuff ahead of time, where your exits are and how to get out of these areas. And I'm also going to talk a little bit about different obstacles that you'll find in this area, in areas like this. And I'm going to hopefully show you some of these obstacles that you got to have kind of some pre-planning so you can get around these things. And hospitals, like I said, present unique challenges. There are typically no carry zones, so you can't carry a firearm when you go in there. They are going to be a hub of activity if something bad happens. There's usually long waits. If you're coming down to a hospital, you got to go to an ER or something, because out in the country, there's no really good hospitals. You have to come basically into the city to get better health care. You might be in that hospital for hours if you have to bring somebody down here. So, you're going to want stuff like a snack. You're going to want to have a little bit of food with you. You're going to want to have something to drink. You're going to want to have some cash on you. You're going to want to have a light with you, because I'll tell you what, buildings like that, if the power goes out and you're stuck in one of those buildings, that sucks. So you want to have some type of light with you. So, we're going to talk about these things, and I brought Uncle Bumble along here so we can get his take on stuff as well. And I'm going to do a little, urban bug out video for you guys. Stick around. Well, we're taking just a little bit of a walk here to see if our gear sticks out, and this gets into backpacks. We just got regular backpacks on with just our gear that we got with us, and you can kind of see here on the street, it is early in the morning. Real quick point about that: if for some reason something bad happened, you had to walk out of an urban environment early in the morning, is probably going to be your best bet from daybreak, I say, until about noon. In the later part of the day, it may be best to just lay low and hunker down and shelter in place until a little bit better time to walk would be. You wouldn't want to be, I don't think, walking around at 8, 9 o'clock at night. 6, 7 in the morning, probably better. But what's your take on seeing people with backpacks?
That's pretty much the norm. Most of the people we've seen are carrying backpacks, or at least a cross-strap bag of some sort, satchel.
Yeah, because there's so much activity around here. I'd say at least 2/3 of the people that we've seen walking had on some type of backpack or sling bag. So I don't believe these packs that we're carrying really are sticking out very much. Anyway, we're going to keep showing you the sights here on our little walk. And we're basically just taking a little walk around, seeing how our gear is riding here for this little urban exercise. Basically, we've been moving through parking lots, in between buildings, sticking to the sidewalks. We're walking on the streets, just trying to touch base on a little bit of every place where you might have to walk in a situation like this. You see that little black square right there? That is the water port, or the Silcock is what they call it. Now, this is something that Uncle Bumble and I were talking about just recently here, about these Silcock keys. A lot of people talk about carrying Silcock keys, and for me, I drove around kind of a few of the local towns that I frequent, the bigger towns that I frequent, and I have found very few of these in my own personal experience in places where I go. I don't know if it's just because, you know, we're up here in the north, they don't put these in as much, but I think it would be simpler to just, you know, ask where the bathroom is and then fill your water bottle up in a bathroom than it is standing outside a building, messing around, drawing water out of the side of the building. And Uncle Bumble, he's got a couple of opinions on that too. I'm going to let him share those with you guys as well.
Yeah, I just think it'd be more apt to somebody, you know, come along and ask what you're doing, and then, or somebody else with nefarious ideas, so you're carrying that around and pulling water from that, to be like, what else do you have in that bag? You know, what else is preparedness does that guy have? Or like, as we have a security guy rolling slow by us right now, you know, just getting jammed up over something you don't need to get jammed up over.
Yep. All right. Be talking to you guys. Oh, the other thing is you don't know if those things are rusted shut. If you open it up, you might get nothing but a bottle of rusty water. So anyway, that's another thing to keep in mind. And this right here is one of the things that you got to have contingencies for. This is a pretty significant water obstacle. You aren't going to swim this. And with the current and stuff that's in here, this is something you're going to need a bridge to cross. And I'm going to swing around here. There's several different bridges where we're at right here. You need to keep these in mind, especially if, for God forbid, you'd have to walk out of a place like this. You're going to have some type of idea of where to go. And I just wanted to show this to you guys. This is something I've talked to people, they don't really think about crossing these obstacles on a daily basis. If you work down here or live down here, you know, I've talked to people that I say, well, you know, how do you, if something happens, how are you going to, you know, navigate this river or that river? And they're like, well, gee, we never really thought about that. So that's why I wanted to make this point up here on the bridge. Uncle Bumble, any points here?
Yeah, I got one quick point. From as far as I can see in both directions, I see a 4-foot seawall on both sides of the river anyway, so you're not going to be able to get out even if you did swim across it. You're going to be able to reach up, pull yourself out for most of that seawall, so swimming's not an option.
So you are definitely going to have to know where all the bridges are in the areas that you frequent. You know, Google Map is, or Google Earth is your friend. You know, take a look at that ahead of time before you're heading into any area that you're unfamiliar with, and make notes of those kind of things. Anyway, we're going to keep going here. One other thing that I want to mention, you can see behind me there's the highway, and that highway actually has cement medians in the center of it. So it is a significant obstacle. If you had to cross this on foot, that'd be a shit show. So you're going to want to look for things, again, like bridges, overpasses, underpasses, where you could get across this kind of stuff if you're on foot. And one other thing here, you can see back behind us here, there is still significant brushy, I guess, wilderness type areas. So just because you're in an urban environment doesn't mean that those wilderness survival skills are necessarily, you pitch them out the window. There is still a applicable use, I guess, for knowing outdoor survival, even if you're in an urban environment. Uncle Bumble, what's your 2 cents on that?
Yeah, just a lot of like the homeless people will use brushy areas like this to hunker down in a lot of major cities. So, you know, it's not saying that it's out of place. Another thing too about this expressway is if we're walking out, there's probably not traffic. It's more just the obstacle of the fences and the medians and that kind of stuff that you'd have to deal with. So yeah, overpasses would definitely be the way to go.
All right, we're going to keep going here. Well, we wrapped up our little walk, and we headed out of town just a little bit here. We're still along the river, as you can see, and we're going to take a couple of minutes here and do a little bit of a gear dump and talk about the items that we brought along on this little walk. We're going to let Uncle Bumble go first here and kind of give his take on the gear that he brought along for this little walk today.
All right, so I never honestly thought about coming out of the city, or at least the downtown part of the city before. So I threw this together last night with a bag that I've had. Kind of wish it was a little bigger, but here's what I got. I got a big bottle of water because I just want to get out of the city. So that should be enough to get me out. And then it's a smart water bottle because I can put my filter right on the top of said bottle and then drink as I go. So I can fill it up with dirty water and keep moving. I don't have to stop the filter. And since I'm in here, I've got, you know, my quick grab things like a headlamp because you don't know what time of the city you're coming out of the city. Sunscreen because I burn real easy, so that's a very important thing. And I've got some quick trauma first aid in there, and that's pretty much it's in that part of the pack. The other thing about my travel out of the city is I've got mainly rural. The majority of the distance is rural, so once I get 2-3 miles through the city, I'm good to go. So I've got some leather gloves in case I've got to handle something hot, sharp, whatever, rough. A cheap tarp for ground tarp or shelter. And that's basically what I got a lot in this pack is shelter for on the way home once I'm out of the city. So I've got a boonie cap because again I burn, so that'll help protect my head. And if it's raining, keeps the water from running right into my eyes. Rain poncho. It's not the greatest rain gear because if I was in the city, I don't think I'd want to put this on right away because it would draw a lot of attention to me, but at least I can cover myself, my bag, and it can turn into shelter as well. So a little bit of cordage. I would probably strip 2 MREs and put 2 MREs worth of food in here. I would like to have, I really don't want mountain house or anything like that. I want stuff that I can eat on the go. Stuff that if I don't have to or don't want to cook it, I wouldn't have to. So that's my thought on the MREs. And I've got my hammock and my bug net, so I've got something to sleep in because it's a hike. It's not going to be a one-day thing to get back home. So that's why I've got that. I've got a metal container to cook in. I've got straps for said hammock. I've got this tin that I put together. This is like a food container, metal food container. I think Essie makes a survival kit like this, and I bought my own because theirs is expensive. It's got a lot of good stuff in it, but I wanted to do it on the cheap. So I get paid like $20 for this tin. It's got a rubber gasket in it, so everything in here is watertight. But I've got just some random fieldcraft gear. Like I got a compass, I've got some jute twine for cordage, I've got a survival space blanket for, you know, more shelter, or if it's kind of a little cool. I've got these lock sacks, which are a 36-ounce bag, so you could drop some iodine tablets, which I have in here, and that way I could filter water or purify water that way. Signal mirror, fire, tape for fixing gear, or, you know, just fire extender, lighter, anti-diarrheal tabs. This is kind of a tin that I threw together a long time ago, so it's got some random stuff. Down there's the aqua tabs, whistle, trick birthday candle. Once you get them lit, if they blow out, they'll light back up, so they'll kind of help dry out some marginal tinder. And then this is some tape for, again, extending fire, but it's also wire that I can wrap around this lip and make a bail handle so I can carry or hang this tin over the fire because the gasket's on the lid. So this can go right on a fire. So that's another metal container that I have. And then there's just a quick fire tab and then some innards from some paracord that I threw in there, so I have some extra cordage. But that's pretty much what I threw in here because I wanted it to be lightweight. I wanted speed. I wanted to get out of the urban area as quickly as possible. And once I get out here, if I've got to do some bushcraft things to make tent stakes and stuff like that, I just feel more comfortable out in the country, taking my time doing that kind of stuff. Like I said, I want a lightweight just to cover distance.
And that's his stuff right there. All right, I'm going to jump down here and I'm going to let him film me showing what gear I brought along.
All right, so before Mountain Refugee does his gear dump, I want to mention that I threw a Swiss Army knife in there. I think it might be the Farmer or the Forester. It's got a little saw on it. I didn't want to have a big blade being in the city, but the saw helps me cut through some bigger stuff. And then I've got charging equipment for charging my headlamp, my phone, and keeping those kind of devices going. But here we go. Here's Mountain Refugee's bag.
All right, guys. I don't know if you can see this or not. It was starting to rain on us, but that's okay, because if it ain't raining, it ain't training. And this is my bag right here. It's just a regular, basically like a school backpack. That's the bag that I got here. I got several of these for different reasons, and I foregoed a lot of kind of the shelter building stuff, and I just decided I was going to throw my raincoat in there. I'll just throw my raincoat on if it would rain or whatever. It's got lots of pockets in it. I can throw lots of gear in it. So that's basically all that I had in the main compartment. As far as liquid goes, I grabbed a metal water bottle and I grabbed a bottle of Mountain Dew. And I would drink the Mountain Dew first, and then I would actually use this as a dirty water bottle. And then this I would fill up and use as a clean water bottle. And it's also a metal bottle where I could boil water in there. I got some first aid stuff here, and the first aid stuff that I grabbed, I got two different ones. I got kind of boo-boo stuff, and then I grabbed kind of some more serious stuff. I grabbed a N95 mask, because you never know if there's dust or smoke or anything like that. I grabbed a pressure dressing. I grabbed some gloves, and then I grabbed a tourniquet. Grabbed some drink mixes and a bar. And then I actually field stripped a couple MREs and taped them together. This is basically the contents of 2 MREs, and I just kind of stripped everything else out and just kind of left the really dense, high-calorie stuff in there, because I'm going to want food if I'm walking out of stuff. I just know from experience that if you're well-fed, you can handle a lot more abuse, whether it's walk-in or stressful situations. So I kind of got that with me. Got a little accessory pack here, and this accessory pack, I got a couple of lighters in it. I got some water tabs. I got my mini Sawyer. I got some basic cordage here in case I'd have to hang this over a fire or something and boil the water in it. I got my large charging pack. This is like a it's basically 3 charges for my phone, and then a spare cord. Got an MRE spoon. Got a large knife. Kind of went with a stainless steel knife for this particular pack here, and then I got a needle taped on the front of it. Then I got a pair of gloves, because you never know what kind of funky shit you're going to have to grab, so I wanted to have a pair of gloves in this. Got a roll of tape, and I got a compass. Now, if I was actually going to be getting out of Dodge, so to speak, I'd grab this compass, put it over my neck, and I drop it down here. I'd get this knife on my belt somewhere kind of out of the way, and I would take this mini Sawyer and I would put that in my pocket, and I would put one of these Bic lighters in my pocket, because if I'd have to dump this bag, those are the items that I want. I want my knife, I want my mini Sawyer, I want my compass, so I can, kind of get my cardinal directions. I got a knife for whatever that I need a knife for. This knife's actually pretty thick, so if I would have to pry or beat on something, I'm going to beat on this knife if I have to. That's just the way it is. But those things would go on my person. The same thing with the tourniquet. The tourniquet I probably take off of here and I put that in my back pocket. So even if I got to dump this entire contents of this bag, I would still have that stuff on me. And then in the front pocket here, kind of the quick grab stuff, I got some wipes. I got a little sliver of hard bar soap I got to wash up. And then I got a dry pair of socks. Got a Gold Bond powder. And then I got just some Neosporin, and a couple Band-Aids, and I got some medication. And then the old headlamp. This is another thing that if I had to really do this for real, this headlamp would be on my person somewhere, because I want to have this with me. So, my knife, my tourniquet, my compass, and my headlamp, that kind of stuff I want on my person, my water filter, and all that stuff, like I said, that could all go like in the pocket of the coat or in my pants pockets, whatever that I was, what I had at the time. But that's basically the gear that I got here. not very heavy. Even if I got the water bottle filled up and stuff, this stuff would all be fairly light. You'd be able to move with it. All right, guys, this is kind of our wrap up now. A couple things that I took from this little impromptu walk that we did here today. One was everybody was pretty much carrying a pack, even if they kind of looked like they were homeless or whatever. There were still people that were carrying bags, they were carrying packs, they were carrying sling bags, they were carrying big purses. So carrying a pack really didn't raise any eyebrows, as far as I could tell anyway, with us just walking around. And that was just sort of the big thing that I guess I took from this walk here. What did you take from this walk here?
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you on that. Like, it was more carrying a pack or a big bag was the norm, and we've seen less people without that, and water bottles too. So remember, they were definitely all carrying water bottles too. So as long as you're not overtly tactical, I think you'll blend in just fine.
Now, Uncle B and I, we were both carrying on this little walk here. We're both concealed carry holders here in Michigan, and we were carrying, but we absolutely had, I mean, nobody really paid attention to us. I mean, even though we were a couple of we weren't really from the area, so to speak, but really I didn't see where anybody paid us any attention one way or another. So that was also something that was pretty good. In the context of this little walk we took here, we blended in fairly decent, that I could tell anyway. But anyway, this is Modern Refugee. I appreciate all my subscribers out there. Hope you guys got a little information out of this walk here. I know a lot of people talk about kind of urban bug outs and walking in, talking about gear and bags and stuff like that in kind of urban areas, but I wanted to actually do it today and kind of test my skills and throw some stuff in a pack and actually take a bit of a walk. Now, there's no right or wrong gear to take on this. It's all based on your experience. If you think you need something, put it in your pack. If you don't think you need it, don't carry it. Experience is the best teacher. So if it's something that you needed before, go ahead and throw that in your pack, because that's basically how we basically packed our packs here today. It was just sort of a, hey, you want to do this? And we grabbed some stuff, threw it in a pack, and I think I'm actually going to leave that pack put together as basically my urban kit if I ever have to come down here and do something like this again. That way I have that gear with me. But anyway, hope you guys got something out of this video here. I appreciate all my subscribers out there. You guys have a good one.